With today's gospel, we finished 3 days of an excursion through chapter 18 of the Gospel according to St. Matthew, which is the fourth of Jesus' 5 major sermons, this one having to do with how to deal with problems in church life. We've heard how we need to be childlike, not childish, dependent on God. How we have to bring people back who leave us and go astray. And today we hear about how we have to forgive. Now, in the Jewish way of thinking, you were forgiving somebody 3 times, essentially, and that somebody usually was what was considered your neighbor, which essentially was your family. And so when Peter in today's gospel says, hey, how many times should we forgive somebody? 7 times? And he thinks he's patting himself on the back, saying, hey, I'm doing twice what the rabbis tell us we've got to do. Isn't that great? And Jesus comes back and says, no, 70 times 7 times. Or it can also mean 77 times. Whether it's 7 times 70 or 77, it doesn't matter. It all has to do with forgive and forgive and forgive. We pray that in the Our Father, don't we? Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So Peter got his comeuppance there, thinking he was going to get an attaboy, and instead he said, you're not doing it enough, Peter. You got to do it always. And then he gives a little parable about forgiveness and about how a king had forgiven an amount that was so large, it's indescribable. One wonders how this guy ever got into a position where he could have lost this amount of money. It's like, 6,000 talents or something and everything. And so it's like, it would be like today, like maybe over $6 million. He was never going to pay that back. There's no way he could have done that. And the king, because the greatest commodity in Jesus' time to have was honor versus shame, says, okay, I'm not going to throw you and your family in jail to get my honor back. I'm going to get my honor back by forgiving you the debt. Just consider that you've paid it and go forward. Incredible forgiveness on the king's part. And then the servant meets somebody that owes him like 100 denarii or something next to nothing compared to what he owed the king. And he refuses and throws that guy in jail. And we hear what the king does with that guy. He says, well, remember I told you I forgave you? I changed my mind. You're going to jail with your family until you pay me the whole thing. And he was never going to be able to pay that. So Jesus is telling us that forgiveness is very important. We know that we always have God's forgiveness, no matter what we do. And so therefore, since God forgives us anything and everything, shouldn't we forgive those around us anything and everything?